You're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
And my name's John T.
And Disable.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Luke. Thanks for joining us for standing in for Granville.
Not a problem at all. Always ready to step up.
I should explain, Granville is with cold at the moment. He's bedridden. He couldn't make last night, so we had to move it to tonight. He still couldn't make tonight. He must be sick because he got 60 points, which is the biggest score in the Contributors League, I think, or second to Andy in the Contributors League. So he had such a great game week, but even that wasn't enough to get him out of his sick bed. John T,
Yes.
we have every sympathy for him, but not for his game week.
No, I'm now level on points with him. So I had a similar game week to Granville, but he obviously got a bit more. I got 50 points and he got 60. But yeah, he did very well. Both of us benefited from Payet, his 2 goals on Monday, which was fantastic. Completely saved my game week. I had 34 points going into that. Suddenly ended up on 50, back in the top million.
Yes, we'll pick that apart. We'll talk about our game weeks in some detail. The only reason Luke's really on this show is because he's actually behind me still in the Contributors League, so I had to bring somebody on who's not beating me. It's got that bad already for me. So welcome, Luke. Welcome, John T. It's the usual formula. We're going to talk about our game weeks, then we're going to look at the community. John T, I think we've got lots of rough of the smooth to go through. Some stories of personal injury even.
We have our own injury problems as well. One of the community's been yellow, possibly even orange flagged. So,
right, hopefully not out for the weekend, but a doubt. Then we're going to move on to the community questions. Lots to cover in that. What are the highlights there? Obviously, people want to know about Payet. And we've got to talk about Hazard as well after tonight's missed penalty. Is he off penalties? And if he is that the end? It probably is. What else are we going to talk about? Let's see. You got some stats on Payet in particular. We're going to talk a bit about transfers on Aguero, strikers and bonus points. Is it time to reassess our thinking in terms of the heavy hitters and mid-price targets? All that again, European matters as well. Lots to cover. Let's get on with our game weeks first of all. So I'll come clean. I came bottom of the three of us here, 39 points. Pretty miserable game week. I did have a green arrow going into Monday night somehow. Then it all went wrong with Payet for me, who, as the caption says here, I didn't have. So 39 points. I think that was the second lowest behind the Professor in the Contributors League. So a miserable game week for me after a couple of green arrows. So less is said about me, the better. Luke, you didn't fare much better, did you?
No, just 1 point more. I've Captain Sanchez, which turned out to be pretty good as captains go.
Maverick stuff in Disable. What was the thinking behind that? You got Aguero, haven't you, surely?
Yeah, I've got Aguero. I just really like Sanchez's numbers. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been looking as well. They're just incredible. It's absolute mystery how he's not managed to score to me so far. But there we go. So yeah, 3 points worked out better than 1 for Aguero. So happy with that overall. I've got to be considering the captain return.
This season, that's a successful armband.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Aside from that, only Mahrez really came in and Kolarov for me. The rest is a sea of 1s and 2s again, unfortunately.
Same here, Mahrez and Kolarov for me. John T, have you given up this Kolarov versus company thing now that company's got a calf injury and Kolarov's getting bonus?
Yeah, I'll probably get Kolarov. If company's fit, probably come to what we're going to do next week. But I'm considering a defensive double up.
Oh, what a City! Oh yeah, because you haven't got Silva in the midfield, have you?
Silva in the midfield. So. Anyway, we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Well, that would mean that you're backing against your man Payet, who was the key member of your 50-point game week, surely.
Well, we're going to come to Payet a bit later, but I have concerns about him away from home, but obviously delighted with him at home. So, as I said earlier, I had him. He completely saved my game week. I was looking at one of those game weeks, Captain Aguero. There's my 1 point, off injured. Real disappointment at that because he actually, of the heavy hitters, he had the real potential to do well, but he was scythed down and that was the end of it. I had Houlihan on the bench.
Yes. Now I took great pleasure in this at the weekend as Houlihan was notching up points.
So that was bad. My rationale. So what I did is I did a couple of transfers. I got Wilson in for Diouf. My rationale with that is I anticipated they're probably going to score vaguely similarly. They might not, but it was a price difference. So I've got that extra money there. and Silva injury prompted me to think, well, I'd like a bit more flexibility with my Man City players. De Bruyne might end up becoming good, and there's also this option of a defensive double up. So I saw that as an opportunity, and I saw Chelsea's fixtures coming up were good, and I thought the Everton game would be a bit of a turnaround for Chelsea. So I got Pedro in for Silva. That obviously didn't happen, and as a result of that, I benched Houlihan. So it was costly for me in the end. So I was looking at that and I was thinking, right, that's just one of those weeks. Mahrez, saved me a bit, but then Payet came in. So I ended with 50. I ended with a nice green arrow. Went up about 600,000 places, which is the kind of thing that happens at this stage of the season. So I'm pretty happy with the game. It's actually my highest score of the season.
Yeah, you've got to be super chuffed with that. But like I said, when Saturday you must be miserable with Houlihan's points on the bench and the Pedro transfer.
This is slightly. I'm glad Granville's not here because he would just mercilessly.
He has been picking on you this season.
Yeah. But I honestly do. I don't. Whilst it's gutting when you have a player on the bench score a lot of points. Of the three options of having a player in your first 11, having a player on the bench, not having that player at all, I think not having that player at all is the worst of those three. And so I've got a great fifth midfielder who I'm certainly not going to be benching again when they've got great fixtures. And I've got Mara. So I've got the midfield, mid-price, cheap holy trinity of Mahrez, Payet, and Houlihan. So yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is with Houlihan, he's going to give you those doubts now every time. It's the trouble when you have that fifth midfield. I've got the same with Albrighton because I looked on it and thought, well, I can afford to keep Silva because I've got Albrighton to come in. But then he predictably got me 2 points, which not a bad score in my team this week. But you know what I mean. It is when you've got a fifth mid that you think, well, he could do a job. You sometimes don't make transfers when perhaps you should. That's the only thing. And with Houlihan, you're going to look at him and go, yeah, he's capable of coming in. Now, he's not going to get double figures very often, I don't think. But
I think my problem I think he's a creative force there. My problem with it is his age, and he just come off 2 internationals. And I just thought, because they've got options in midfield, I just thought Houlihan would get a rest. I just thought there was such a big risk of that it wasn't worth me relying on him to cover for Silva, who obviously was definitely out. But now I think he's going to play most games.
He's integral, doesn't he?
But he does. He looks absolutely integral to him. He's completely on fire. He's such a high performer for them. I can't see them leaving him out. So very happy. I'll probably play him against Liverpool. That's he's on penalties, so worth a go.
Yeah, 3 away games in 4. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what happens about that. I mean, there's questions later about changing formation, and that would allow you to play Houlihan every week. So, that could be the option there. Granville's game week, we should mention 60 points. So, a fine game week for Granville. Let's have a quick look at his team, and in his absence, tell the story of that. I mean, Payet obviously got him 16 points. Mahrez 11. He had Kolarov in there as well. That was it, and then he had Myhill in goal. So Myhill, interestingly, I was completely wrong on that. I went Lindegaard in the watch list. I really felt Lindegaard would start. He was signed to be their number 1 choice in the absence of Foster. Didn't that? Myhill's form looks like he's keeping the jersey, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think as well, the Pulis effect is there. And one of the issues with the West Brom defenders is they're not getting the bonus, and we'll come to bonus a bit later. But players like Dawson are quite good, but they're just not getting the bonus. But Myhill is. So Myhill's getting the save points, the bonus, the clean sheet. He's a really good option at the moment. I mean, there is that still. I mean, you thought Lindegaard would usurp him, but. It's a nagging doubt that he may still, but I think
it's form based at the moment, isn't it? You can't really drop Myhill the form he's in until if there's a howler around the corner, then possibly. But at the moment, it's his to lose, isn't it?
The keeper situation is interesting because they are doing much better this season. I know
definitely.
Luke, you've got Vardy and Butland. I had Butland and McCarthy, and for me, it was a case of who's going to get the most save points. You left Butland on the bench, but the save points, coupled with the fact that saves are getting more bonus points, is making a big difference this year, isn't it?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, I wasn't even a fan of the Ruddy Butland combo to begin with. I think I got talked around on that one a little bit, but it's not really done it so far, has it at all? I mean, Myhill's completely outperformed them. Even Gomez looks like a decent option for Watford.
Yeah, Watford are doing well.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few different options.
Okay, Jonty, let's look at the community stories because there's quite a lot to get through here. Payet is a common theme, not surprising. Mahrez is in there as well. A bit of Houlihan mention as well. So a lot of the players we've mentioned already are basically the factors behind the rough with the smooth this week. Let's start with some rough because there's some good ones.
Yeah. Well, this is good. These are the bits we like because they make us feel better. But Watt puts a 101 and Barry Wodge. So great names there. They both ditched Payet, so 16 points for AU, 2 points, I believe he got 2 points, was it? Yeah. But they're planning to get Payet in for game week 7. Well, of course they will, because West Ham have a lovely home game then.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, AU was the most transferred in player in the game week. I got him in as well really early. And I mean, the trouble is, once you get AU in, they have got 3 home games in 4, so this is the dilemma now because I was getting AU in as a short-term thing to upgrade to Pedro, but I'm probably not going to get rid now. A lot of people are going to turn to Payet in the same way they turn to AU because he got the points. So
there's very much danger of that, isn't it? A bit of hokey cokey going on with these players at the moment. They're gonna do that, the odd 12 then a blank, and you're going to end up you just keep switching them around. It's sometimes a stick, isn't it?
I mean, there's no doubting that AU is a good player to get in. I mean, I was looking at when I was looking at some home and away stats this afternoon. One of the strange things I noticed was that Gomez and AU, they're performing better away. Now that may be to do with the opposition they're facing away, but then thinking about it, they had Chelsea away, but then Chelsea confounded us. So
it's just the theme of the Premiership more than anything, isn't it? Away teams are doing a lot better.
So I mean, I for myself, and I'm sure lots of other people, they've got Gomez. So it's the GG, that double up of Gomez and AU, and if you're doing that and then neither of them, there's 2 prime slots in your team delivering 2 points.
I mean that happened, didn't it, this week at Watford? But then I look at it and think, well, they have got 3 home games in 4, so this is a spell where if you have got both of them like I've got, you're going to hold them, I think. Because
yes, definitely. Oh no, I wouldn't consider ditching AU, but it also they've got Everton next. Everton, I cannot fathom at the moment. They are completely trouncing teams they shouldn't. They're losing against others. There was some people on our community, on the Fantasy Football Scout community earlier, were talking about this and about over the last couple of seasons how Everton performing so bad in losing to the likes of Hull, but then when it comes to like Man City or Chelsea, they're fantastic again. They play. A fantasy manager's nightmare, Everton. So when I see Swansea against Everton, I literally have no idea whether Gomez will score or blank. Couldn't predict it at all.
The thing is with Gomez is he's a player who can score against anyone because he's such an awkward customer. He's kind of fixture proof because of the way he is. I've got him in the Sky game. Luke, I guess you have as well.
Gomez? No, I don't have him in the Sky. I've got the all-star cast up front of Aguero and Sanchez, returning 1 goal between them so far.
Okay, you must be well chuffed with that. We'll get on to the season later on then. I noticed also Kamba is another one who ditched Payet, but he got Pedro in. Same move that you made, basically getting Pedro in, Jonty. And that was a big error for him. First one he's made of the season, according to him. But it was so difficult because Pedro and IU were just so fancy going into the game week in terms of transfers in, and Payet had got 2 blanks. So it was those people who have stuck with him, like yourselves and Granville, who kept the faith, who got repaid. So I think, if you did sell Payet for IU or Pedro, it's forgivable. Don't beat yourself up over it. It was an easy thing to do. What others have we got here then, Jonty?
Mithrander, if I pronounced that right, I'm getting all the names here, he kept Payet. In large thanks to me, apparently. Apparently I advised him to hold for just 1 more game, which is indeed sound advice, because they had a great game and Newcastle are terrible at the moment. So he got 50 in the end. So, but
that was a smooth game week for him then.
So yeah, so I mean, he's, you know, I think the reason he's in the rough bit is just because no one else really did anything for him, and he was like me. He was just looking at a terrible game week, and he brought himself up to a kind of an average one there. Boris Bodega.
No, that was a smooth as well. I've got these in the wrong order.
Right.
You want to go to this is rough. Okay. He took a hit transferring out Payet and Diouf to Ayew and Gomez. That's the double Swansea we were talking about. Now he did the Diouf move, which is something you're looking at this week. And again, you know, Swansea's fixtures were 3 and 4 at home. I think it didn't pay off for him this week, but he again, he'll get points out of those two, I think, in the next 4 game weeks. So he does have a smooth side to his game week as well, because he got the Houlihan in.
Yes, for Silva. So he kept Silva in his team, and then got those Houlihan points. But you know, Houlihan's the new George Boyd. He's going to be doing that a fair bit, I imagine, this season.
12th man here.
12th man, this is a rough 41, so that's not great. It would have been 56 had he had Payet, which he didn't, and he had to bench. So who did he bench? Yep, it was Payet. So he did have him, but benched him sadly.
So he had Sanchez, Yaya,
Toure,
Mahrez, and Payet. He had 5 top class.
Where Gomez and Wilson. Out of all of those, I'd have been tempted to bench Ayew or Gomez, because the way it's working out, Gomez and Ayew, if Swansea is scoring, they're gonna get some points. One of them's gonna get some points, so you're gonna be kind of limiting the damage. You know, he's just unlucky there. Payet is the one.
This is what it harks back to what I said earlier.
Aren't we? We're going to see a lot of that, aren't we? I think that's what you were going to say, Mark, isn't it? Because there's so much money floating around, you're just going to have great squads all the time.
This is it, and it doesn't pay to have strong. Yeah, to have a strong fifth midfielder sometimes really hurts you, because you always have this dilemma every week. Then.
Well, that's what he says. 12th man says, have a bench for the midfielder. He's got too many headaches.
Yeah, it is. And the thing, I mean, I would have done exactly the same as him. I think. I mean, it would have been a real dilemma on Saturday morning to leave Payet out, but I just think you maybe could have left Ayew out. Well, the thing is, you doubt whether Watford were going to concede too much to Swansea, and Swansea were never historically have a cutting edge on the road, although they've been much better this season. So I do sympathise there. And then now we're getting on to the personal injury case.
This is it.
I imagine he's had many cold calls this week as a result of this injury.
Casuals are for Kinnear. He's had many names over the seasons, but there's always a Kinnear in there. Casuals are for Kinnear. So after he read that Aguero had come off injured, he got up to grab a drink, hit his foot off the table, fell in agony. So he's there with chaos and chairs all around him. His little one, he says, his son or his daughter's just standing there confused. Why is Dad in agony on the floor? He asked his wife for some frozen peas to ease the pain. So this is kind of like mirroring Aguero's. I don't know if Aguero got frozen peas on the pitch, but so she was concerned. So he's lying in agony, frozen peas there, and all he's doing is just laying on the floor, and all he can say is to his wife is Aguero went off injured.
That's the reason for the rage on the table there.
Yeah.
Not quite. I mean, this is the kind of thing. Personal injuries for fancy managers out of frustration must happen quite a lot, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think so. I think they should be more mirroring of that. There was some talk earlier on the site. There was a very good article by Woe Is Me on Fantasy Football Scout about the term casual. And he was coming up with all the sorts of different types of fantasy managers, the Mavericks and the Dullards, and he had another group called the Streakers, who I hadn't heard of before. I don't think anyone else had.
How did you define that group then?
Well, I presume it's those that follow players on a streaky run, like Rooney has been in previous seasons. But the speculation that it was in fact some kind of new form of fantasy football streaking, which involving, I don't know, running naked past a computer screen or something.
I'm all for that, as long as it's not Granville, basically.
But yes, perhaps it's that. So perhaps it's starting to mirror that, and during football matches, people throw kind of toilet rolls.
This casual situation, I'm gonna base the preamble on that this week. Obviously, it is a bone of contention. A lot of people were talking about at the weekend the fact that we belittle casual managers by referring to them as casuals. I've got some theories on that. Luke, have you got any theory? I mean, does it frustrate you that? I mean, you must be losing out in mini leagues to people that perhaps you feel aren't as taking it as seriously as you? Is that the case this season?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Do I have any bad feelings towards them? No, not at all. I mean, I think overall you like to think that the cream will rise to the crop, and the more attention you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. It's by no means any guarantee, certainly this season, but no, I can't hold it against them. They're just, enjoying the game, which is perhaps what we should try to do more often sometimes.
So are you losing your money leagues this year, Luke?
Oh, yeah, I'm well off them at the moment. I think in Sky, for example, about 30,000 at the moment. It's probably my worst start ever, but we'll see if I can come back.
So the people in your league who have been giving you money for the last 5 years must see a chink of light at last.
Yeah.
To get some of their cash back.
It's looking that way, yeah.
Right, okay. What about you, John? Have you got any views on this?
Well, no, I agree with a lot of what Woe Is Me was saying in his article, which I do urge people to have a read. And it's quite dismissive of people to say casual, because often they're not. So he was making the point saying, if someone's not paying much attention to the game, so for example, they play their wild card, then forget to actually press the wild card button and make 52 points worth of hits, that would be a casual move. But as he points out, that's what the FPL champion of 2 years ago, Tom Fenley, did. So he's no casual. So that's I think it's unfairly banded around, and I think he's got a point that old hands like us at the game are a bit frustrated we're not doing so well with our carefully laid plans, and there's a tendency to blame people, but I have every faith that these so-called casuals will fall away by the end.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not. I mean, I'll go into it more in the preamble. For me, I don't refer to people who pay less attention to fantasy football in derogatory terms, and I'm not overly frustrated by the fact that players who do that are beating me. But I don't think there's any harm in defining a group of people who play fantasy football to a lesser degree, perhaps, than you or I or Luke. I don't know. I don't know why that is seen necessarily as derogatory. I'm not seeing it as derogatory. I'm just trying to say, okay, there are people who play fantasy football. They pick their team at the start of the season and they come back to it 3 or 4 times before Christmas. There's nothing wrong with that. The more people play fantasy football, the better. But those people do exist. There's no point in pretending they don't. And I don't think it does any good either to be angry or frustrated at those people. It's just the way this season has gone so far. But I'd like to think history points to the fact that the more attention you pay fantasy football, the more you'll get out of it. And I think, like Luke says, I think that'll be the end result. Anyway, more on that on Saturday. I'll probably raise a few heckles on Saturday. That might be the point.
Maybe we need to come up with a new brand name, Mark. Maybe the community can think of a new, less derogatory name if they think that's derogatory.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe this is it. I mean, there was a football team called Corinthian Casuals, and nothing wrong with the word casual. I don't know why it's necessarily people jump on it and go, "Oh, that's derogatory," to call someone. Just call a fantasy manager a casual manager. I don't know. I don't know why that is the case. Anyway, let's move on to another rough story. I think, Luke, you've got one. You were sent one at the witching hour, right? In last knockings, weren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I just kind of noticed it on the boards. A chap, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, but Kapulsta. This one seems to take the biscuit, really. He's the short story is he's managed to trade 25 points for 5, missing out on 20 points because he's transferred Payet and Silva to De Bruyne and Ayew. So because of that, Barkley sat on his bench and didn't come on for Silva, who didn't play. Just a massive hit. So he missed out on Barkley and Payet's points. A 20-point swing. That's hard to take.
Yeah, I think I would have kicked the coffee table for that one. That's pretty painful. So did he give what was his tally in the end for the game week?
I'm not sure. Let me just see if he's got his team links real quick.
He didn't put that up, but
no, he hasn't got that, unfortunately. But I mean, it can't have been good. He says he's already at 1.5 million before that, and it couldn't get much worse.
Yeah, that's tough. Just on the subject of Barkley, John T, you got views on Everton. You've said that you find them hard to predict and frustrating. Yeah. Doesn't that define Barkley as well, or do you think?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it both makes their players great players to get in and terrible ones at the same time, because they're going to be completely confound you. I mean, Lukaku's always is a veteran of this. Was it hat trick against Manchester United? Nothing against whatever terrible relegation threatened side, Cardiff, or that's just the way they do it. When they beat Southampton, and really beat Southampton, they made Southampton look like a championship side again, and that came out of the blue. Chelsea, I think that was, half Chelsea, half Everton being good. But, I think the malaise around Chelsea has forgotten how good Everton were, how good John Stones was, how they're not giving any chances. So,
it's very surprising when you look at their team sheet, isn't it? A lot of the time, you just don't see real quality all over the place.
Well, Martin has always been a team manager rather than going for the individual flair, and I think it's great. Barkley, he's a really good option. He's been a fantastic differential for people. I mean, he's really. But the thing is, at game week 11, is it game week 11? I think when their fixtures changed, 11 or 13.
This is it. It's so tough for them before that.
You get them in and then watch them fade again.
What I was going to say, it would just be like Everton, wouldn't it, to put them in for the the time that we'd see as the perfect time, and they fade away.
Yeah, we've all set our alarms for game week 11. The Everton alarm's going to go off, and because up until then it's Swansea, West Brom, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. You just can't see. I mean, those home games against Liverpool United could go either way, but it would be like Everton to raise their game and deal a beating to both of them, wouldn't it? So,
he's been sensational, Barkley. He really has. Really, really impressed. At times it's looked like he's not going to live up to that potential, not just in fantasy terms, in just football terms, but he won't go away, will he? I think he's going to get better and better.
Yeah, some smooths then, John T. I'll start it off with Jafoli, who did who kept Payet, and the reason why he kept Payet, and this is quite interesting, it's a recurring theme in my fantasy career. Monday Night Football. He kept him because he was live on Sky. Not something I thought about. I wonder if anyone else did, because I do think that is a factor when you're pondering a player and you go, do I transfer this player in or do I get rid of this player? You look at what the live matches are and think, oh no, I want that player, because when I watch the match on Monday night or Sunday afternoon, I want to have a player in that game, and it worked for him, got him the points because of Monday Night Football. Is that a factor for you, Luke, as well? Do you do that kind of thing?
A little bit. It just adds to the interest, doesn't it? It's the same as sort of betting in a way, isn't it? You'd like to see it. It does give you that option to assess the player, and to screen frustrations or cheer for joy. So yeah, I do sort of agree with that a little bit. It definitely
when it's West Ham Newcastle, you need something to liven that up.
Without a doubt, yeah, that's the main reason.
More smooths than John T. We've got Rupert the Horse here.
Rupert the Horse. Well, what can we say? What a game week he's had. His key decision was to play a late captain. So who did he go for? He saved his free transfer. He stuck with who he had. He had Payet. He captained him. So that's fantastic, isn't it? 32 points there from one player.
What's he mean by late captain, though? This is what I don't understand. Does he mean like he made the decision at the last minute?
At the last minute, yeah. I think that's what it is. You think you and I, and maybe it was a Monday Night Football thing at play there.
I think it's a Monday night thing. I think that's what he means, to be his captains to go last.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's going to go for that late captain, but also it was a late decision as well. Must have been, who do I have? Do I have Aguero? But yeah. So
I have a late captain very often. It's like I'm switching it at 11:20, 11:22, 11:25. It can't get much later than that.
But the rest of his team got 35. So he's looking at 67. His rank went from 2 million to 700,000.
Yeah.
So that's set him up very nicely. A lesson learned. And this might be a lesson for us all here. It says, my new relaxed attitude: just go for a punt captain. How many of us should have kicked ourselves when we look at Mahrez's points and look at all those people that captain Mahrez, all few of them, and how well they've done while we're languishing with Aguero's 2 points. And so yeah, good stuff there from Rupert the Horse.
Triggy up next. He's got Kolarov to thank for his Payet points by the look of it.
Yeah. So he's been weighing up that company to Kolarov transfer after seeing Silva injured, so just as he completed the transfer, so he was a bit worried about it. So this meant he'd have to play Payet because of the Silva injury. So we know what happened then. So that was pretty good, and obviously Kolarov did well. So he got Kolarov in, got those 9 points. Plus Payet and 16 points, so another great, so 25 point swing there, just from that one little move, and not doing what I did, reacting to the Silva injury with a manoeuvre.
Yeah. Tim Howe's beard is next. Now this is interesting because it addresses formation issues.
Yeah.
2 key decisions he says here. One was benching Wilson. The other, and going 3-5-2, and the other was captaining Mahrez. Okay, so that he took a punt. He did a great thing there. Went Mahrez with the captain over Aguero, as did Andy in our Contributors League, who's still top, 65 points this week. Incredible game week again by Andy. But Tim Howard-Beard did the Mahrez captain, but it's the 3-5-2 which is interesting because he took the brave decision of not playing Wilson, and Wilson was at Norwich, and that could have gone wrong for him. But he played this 3-5-2, and we're gonna come to that in a question later on. But that's brave, isn't it? And he had AU, so he got around this issue with Payet or A by playing them both and going with a Wilson decision. And
it is brave, but there were people like Doozer, one of the regulars on our site. A lot of our listeners will know that name. He benched Wilson as well. He was saying bench Wilson, and then he had all sorts of stats tables to throw at people about it. He pinpointed some kind of reduction in form with Wilson that perhaps no one else had spotted, and he was bang on, particularly away. So that is a brave move. It's the trouble with it, having all these cheap players that are performing. Your instinct is to bench a cheap player, but. That was a good call. I kind of wish I'd done that as well. I read Doozer's comments. He perhaps had as well, and I wish I'd followed that advice.
Texas Pete, he had the all-out attack chip. This is something I was going to play, and had Silver not got injured, I would have played it. He did play it. Have you seen this one? He basically saying if he hadn't have played his all-out attack, he'd have to have chosen between AU, Payet, Yaya, Sanchez, and Mahrez. And he thinks he would have benched Payet, and again he was another one who captained Mahrez, which I mean it comes down to this, and it's going to be part of the digest this week, or is part of the digest this week by the time you listen to this. Mahrez captain, right? Is he now in the realms of being a reliable player to get the armband on? It seems that way. I mean, Andy would say so. I mean, what do you think on that, Luke?
Again, it's looking that way, isn't it? It really is. I mean, you only have to watch him play to see. He's shown flashes of it last season, but just watching him play, you can see. People can't handle him. He's pretty much got one trick, feigning to shoot and cutting inside, but he does it so well that no one can stop him at the moment. And especially when he's shifted into that position in the hole, he does really look like a great option.
There was an incident on Sunday where he put 3 Villa players on the backside.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's the same trick he does over and over again, but no one can stop it. He's just so quick, and so he's able to keep the ball so close to his foot. He's just it's brilliant at the moment. I mean, he has in the past been quite sort of hit and miss, so you have to think that eventually there'll start to be some misses, but at the moment it doesn't look like happening.
Well, interestingly, they got 4 away games in 6, and I was looking at some stats. You'll love this, Jonty. I was looking at some stats before I came on for some Sky stuff we're doing, and Leicester have had the fewest shots on target away from home, and they've got 4 in the next 6 away from home. So Leicester, on their travels, aren't posing much of a threat so far. Okay, they've only had a couple of away games to go on, so there's not much data there, but 4 away games in 6. I don't know. Would you gamble on Mahrez as captain away from home?
Yeah, I would at the moment. I think form is trumping fixtures. Maybe they're not getting those shots away. I personally would be reluctant to captain him. I wish I had many times, but as you say, the away games makes me think I'm glad I've got him, but I'm not sure I would captain him. And I also think as the season goes on, I think, as you said, his tricks will be found out. And they'll start to deal with him, like Harry Kane as well. I mean, they're partly fatigued with Harry Kane, but partly just defences. They obviously did their research a bit better with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Smooth is the smooth. Now, this is a story sent on by the Colonel. Do you want to read this one out, Jonty? Because it's an incredible tale of the week's leading scorer in the FPL. I can't believe this.
I mean, this is incredible because this is a combination of just incredible luck and bravado. So he played his triple captainship, so not a double game. He just played it, and he put it on Rooney, who was injured, but his vice captain was Payet. So who he knew he would definitely start. So he was unsure Rooney would start. He knew Payet was, so he did that. So he had that move, and then he had the other decision was to go on Mahrez. So he had this move: shall I go for Payet? Shall I go for Mahrez? And he ended up, I think, from reading this, the best part of the Mahrez decision. So it looks like he went for the Mahrez one. It's almost immaterial. He got Mahrez or Payet triple captain. That's fantastic. That's complete win. He almost doesn't need to use it for a double game week because he's got that kind of double game week captain score for there. So that, that's great. He's done really well there.
Well, I mean, it's just pure luck, though, isn't it? For a start, why would you even consider Rooney? It's just a crazy situation. But that typifies what's going on this season. Some of those decisions that appear really. I mean, I looked at Andy's team before the weekend, and he's playing around with his team somewhat. He had I think he.
Hello.
He started ever. And obviously Ward didn't play and Aguero came on, but he didn't captain Aguero, he captained Mahrez. And I looked at him and thought, what's he trying to do here? He's taking risks, and and it's paying off for him. And he's backing of the Leicester players has just been incredible because Vardy did the business for him as well. So I mean, Andy's having an incredible season in a season which has been so unpredictable. It's suiting him down to the ground because he's that kind of player. And these kind of actions, and this guy who was top scorer of the week, it's coming off for people. It's just it's absolutely mad.
The Vardy mention as well. I mean, I really don't think he's been given enough credit for what he's doing. He's continued where he left off last season. It's just absolutely amazing for that price. He churns out points pretty much every week. He's just a great option, I think. He just doesn't stop running. It's incredible to watch him play as well.
Yeah, I mean, the combination of Vardy's industry and Mahrez's creativity for Leicester is just people can't handle it.
Yeah,
and they just seem super fit as well, Leicester. They just seem to be able to run and run. Just run out of steam against them. They just wear them down. And I mean, against Stoke, I mean, they've got Stoke this weekend. It's going to be very interesting. I think home to Arsenal is going to be a cracker as well. Jonty, was that your missing dog barking there?
It was. It's back again.
Right, that's good. Back in for the alley.
Dogs now, actually. So two double trouble there.
It's not John Terry's dog then.
No.
Okay, Jonty, we got some questions, and you've got some stats to roll out.
Yes.
And Payet.
I've got some stats kind of more about positioning, really. So it's Rukawa has asked about Payet, saying, are we seeing a difference there between him playing in the hole and playing on the flanks? So obviously played most of the game in the hole on Monday, so the indication would be that. But I was having a look at some of the positions. So I was looking at the Liverpool game. So he was meant to have been on the flanks there, and he obviously got 2 points. So you think, okay, there's an issue there. But I looked at the position map. There he is, right in the centre, cuddling up to Sacco, right there. He may have on paper meant to have been on the wings, but there's no way he was. His average position was firmly just off the centre circle, right next to Sacco. So I think it's kind of immaterial. I think we're getting a bit too technical and hang up on whether he's playing on the wing or he's always going to be coming in central, and he's always going to be in that position. The thing that's the big difference, though, is home and away. In the Fantasy Football Scout members area, which is a kind of stats heaven, there's a kind of a general kind of way of looking at the stats that's quite quick and easy, where you can kind of look at kind of round up various stats like goal attempts and things as threat. So he's got a score of an average of 31 according to this, which won't mean much, but then you look at, he's got 31 at home, which won't mean much until you look at away. He's got 6, so he's 5 times more threatening at home than he is away. So that may be to do with the particular teams he's up against. But he has had some easy ones at home, and the away games have been tough. And he's got another tough away game coming up. So that may be.
What's interesting is the away games are the ones they've been winning up until Monday night.
Yeah, well that's it. They've been winning, but he hasn't.
He hasn't actually produced anything. It's in the home matches. Yeah, I mean, so what you're talking about there is the ICT threat score, which is basically, it bundles up stats like shots in the box, touches in the box, and shots on target and stuff like that. So it kind of tries to capture the key stats that identify how threatening a player is. And like you say, Payet at home scores 31, Payet away scores 6. So it's quite intriguing that in the matches they haven't won, he's done really well.
I think that's got to do with the fact that he's given more of a sort of free role at home, isn't he? He's allowed to be threatening. Away from home, you can't really afford to have that player that you got to carry. I think he's got to sort of chip in as best he can defensively, and obviously it has a big impact on him, not necessarily the team, but definitely on him, it appears.
Also, well, I mean, the thing is, he's not going to play out wide very often now that Antonio and Moses are there and Lanzini's there. I mean, Bilic has got options out wide now, so I think we'll see Payet given that free role.
I think that the overall thing that we want to try and grab from this is Payet's just scored 60 points. Do his owners playing against Man City? I would say, judging on these stats here, which show that he's far less effective away. Plus, coupled in, Man City, am I right in saying they have yet to concede in the Premier League?
Yeah, they haven't conceded a goal in the Premier League.
So, I mean, West Ham may be attacking. They may have had a good go at Liverpool and Arsenal, but, I mean, the odds, I mean, it's one of those seasons, the odds could be screwed up.
The Champions League might be a bit of a distraction for Man City now. It
could be. It could be. Company may be out, so that could disrupt their defence a bit. I'm probably going to be benching Payet because of all of those factors there.
Well, it's interesting that despite scoring 16 points, he's not in the top 10 transfers in. He's right down there on 44,000 transfers in this week. Nowhere near the top at all in terms of transfers in. So people are looking at that City game and going, well, I'm not getting him yet.
Yeah,
they're looking at game week 7.
I think on paper they're very wise to do that and then get him in game week 7. He's got a nice little run then of games home as well. So yeah, I mean he's going to be an absolutely fantastic option there. I wouldn't go as far as essential, but he'd be a very, very good player to own then. But yeah, I would hold personally.
Luke, do you have him in Sky?
I did have him in Sky right up until I couldn't ignore Mahrez anymore. They're very similarly priced, and I've made this silly error of swapping them. What I really needed to do was keep both, wasn't it? But then again, we got Ayew as well in that bracket. There's just so many in that bracket, and that's that hokey-cokey thing I was talking about. You got people like Hazard stinking up my team, so I'll probably have to address it.
He's got to go, isn't he? I mean, let's talk about that tonight. He's missed that penalty in the Champions League. Oscar stepped up and taken the next one. If Hazard loses penalties, it's curtains, isn't it?
Well, yeah. How many goals did he get from open play last season? It wasn't a lot.
Now you're asking. We'll find that one out. I don't have that at my fingertips, sadly.
I don't think it was many. I think a lot of them were from, his points came from assists and from penalties more and bonus points more than from goals from open play. And I mean, like you say, if he's lost penalties now, I mean, there was even that bit where he gave the penalty to Costa. It might have just been a final day thing, but there's certainly some doubt around his penalty taking now, a lot more so. And with the form he's in, it's hard to argue to keep him.
Well, Mourinho can't risk it. I mean, if Chelsea get a penalty against Arsenal.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he can't risk it, can he? He can't give it. He's going to give it to Oscar if Oscar's on the pitch, and I think Oscar needs to be on the pitch at the moment.
I mean, it's one of the reasons I got Pedro in was I looked at the price tags. I think Chelsea have to turn it around. There's no way Chelsea are going to finish this season 17th place.
Oh, of course not.
They're going to turn it around.
As good as it'll be, but no, it's not going to happen.
At some point they are. I think some kind of Chelsea attacking coverage is good. That's why I got Pedro and kind of set myself up for that. Don't have to worry about that now. I think Oscar is clearly he's very injury prone though, but he's a player I've always liked. He's a player I tipped to be the key differential this season in our predictions. But yeah, I mean, you look at Hazard's price tag, 11.5 million, that form, no penalties. Well, just forget it.
Well, the thing is, we said on the opening day, Oscar got all the dead balls, didn't he, off of Fabregas? Oscar gets penalties as well. Yeah. Come on, hello, you got to have a look at the Brazilian, haven't you?
Because Pedro is taking his share of corners and set pieces as well. He's eroded a bit of Fabregas's fantasy potential as well. So it's become a bit of a mess. So I think a lot of fantasy managers this season, we're still in a mindset of last season. Chelsea are not the Chelsea of last season. Their players and their fantasy assets are different fantasy assets.
It's absolutely baffling though when you look at the quality they've got. You just look at their lineup every week and you just can't understand it, can you? And it's complete opposite to Everton for me. When you look at them, you just think, how are they performing like they are with, what's his name, Cleverley in the team and people like that, Naismith. They're just, it's incredible.
Well, it's going to be interesting. The Arsenal game's a crunch game for Mourinho. He says he's feeling the pressure, but lose that and
I mean, I hope Pedro's fit. He's got a bit of a niggling injury at the moment, but I think I'm happy to go into that game with Pedro and Sanchez and see what will happen. I couldn't predict it at all, so
I think a lot comes down to Arsenal's mentality. If they can approach that the way they should, then they can really stick the hurt on Mourinho in that game.
I think so. I think that's going to happen. They rested players tonight, and it cost them in the Champions League, but they're going to be ready for that one. Okay, we've got a question from Hooky here on 4-5-1, Jonty.
Yeah. So will any of the Scoutcast team be switching to a 4-5-1 formation if Aguero is out?
Well, Aguero's likely to play now, isn't he? We know that.
He's likely to play, but let's just assume he's out. So, I mean, what this is really looking at is basically saying, look, there's loads of great midfielders here. There's loads of great defenders. There's the attackers are not doing it for us. I think 3-5-2 is definitely an option. Personally, I've got, like a lot of people, I've got Gomez, Wilson and Aguero. I think a lot of us have got 3 strikers, but looking at Wilson, I think Wilson's starting to show his price a bit. I think, obviously I'm going to play him this week. It's a great fixture. But in the tougher games, very happy to start benching Wilson and getting Houlihan in. So, I think 3-5-2 for me. 4-5-1, I think, is going perhaps a little too far.
I don't think defences are reliable enough yet. But I think Wilson. Wilson's got Sunderland at home this weekend. No way you're going to bench him for that. Yeah. Stoke away and Watford at home. Those 3 games, if you're a Wilson owner, you got to hold, I think. But I think the problem here is the midfield choices, and you're always going to have this pain every week of, is it Ayew or Payet? I've got to play Mahrez, I've got to play Sanchez if I've got them. It's really tough. You can see why 5-man midfield it could be the way to go. We talked about it at the start of the season, whether that could be the option, because of Aguero's price being 30 minutes.
But it's also the defenders. They're getting a lot of bonus points, aren't they? I mean, he says 4-5-1 and 5-4-1 there, so it's more looking at defenders rather than even midfielders there, I would say. He's very interested in them, and they have been returning the bonus points. I think it's just one of those things, though. We're far more happy to sit back and cheer on an attacking player than your defender to get a clean sheet, aren't you? I think that's what it comes down to.
This takes us to KTK's interesting question, Jonty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, he's making that very, very same point that Luke's just made there. So he's saying, strikers about where are all these bonus points for strikers? They're just not happening. And so have a look at the top bonus contenders this season. So we've got Mahrez at the top at 12, and so go down the list: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You've got to get to 14th place in the list of bonus point recipients this season so far to find a forward, and that's Wilson.
And that's 3 off the back of his hat-trick, isn't it, in one day?
Look at it, it's Wilson and Agallo, a name we should mention, because he's 2 goals this season. It's just ridiculous.
So, and the players that are scooping up the bonus points, you've got Mahrez, you've got Kolarov, you've got Sanya, you've got Sacco, Ayew, Myhill, 1, 2, 3, Myhill's 6th. I mean, this is one of those seasons. We've got Pedro here at 5. One of the reasons I got him in, I'm thinking, well, if someone's actually getting bonus this season, I'm going to have them, because they're hard to find. And
there does seem to be a recurring theme there. A lot of those players who look down the list, it's their ability to dribble with the ball and put crosses in. Anyone who can dribble with the ball and put crosses in, regardless of their position, obviously apart from Myhill there, seems capable of getting the bonus points.
Yeah, we saw that with Bellerin this week. I think he had actually got the
49 BPS.
49 BPS, which is the what's used to calculate bonus.
Incredible.
And you look at the breakdown, he just had a bit of everything. He was tackling, he was putting crosses in, creating chances.
I'm his biggest fan. He's absolutely fantastic.
He did literally everything. It was almost like a perfect fantasy performance. And it shocked people, because if you just watch the game and you think, well, Arsenal win 2-0, why is Bellerin getting these bonus points? Well, that's why, and that's going to be what's happening this season.
He should have had a couple of assists via penalties as well this season already. He's been hacked down a couple of times in the box, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, it's pretty ridiculous what's going on there. Another question then, Jonty. What do you feel?
Right. Yeah. So well, this one, I mean, about on big hitters. So this is from the names Kolarov. Is it only a matter of time before the traditional big hitters start firing? Or should we go and captain form players like Mahrez, for example? He says he's got the same front three as me: Gomez, Wilson, Aguero. But strangely, I can't decide who to captain at the moment, because immediately you would think Aguero. And I think this is a common theme that we've spoken about I think that this season's completely turned on its head. The big hitters aren't delivering, and then they're not in good supply either. So where's Rooney? He would normally be up there. Where's Costa? Kane? I mean, these players are just—they're not even around. They're not even on the. They're not even getting more than 2 points. So yeah, it is. It's already
I'm
time.
looking at the captain poll at the moment. Aguero is winning it, but he's not by a big margin. And in a game week where he's got a great fixture. He's got West Ham at home, and you think, well, that's. I mean, okay, there's doubts over his fitness. That's probably a factor in this, but it looks like he's going to play. I mean, he got on the pitch on Tuesday night, so it looks like he's going to start that game. Aguero should be running away with his captaincy poll, but he's not. Mahrez is third. People are talking about Benteke as captain because he's at home to Norwich. There's so much uncertainty. It's good. Is it not good for the game? Is it? I mean, I know we're struggling to get a foothold this season, and a lot of people on the site are as well. But is it not good? Is it not good that we've got this swing this season away from the heavy hitters?
Of course it's good, but also it's because we're mad obsessives about the game. We know the very fact that we're talking about it, that we're starting to think, Captain Mahrez, that gradually members of our community have coming saying, I captain Payet and Mahrez, even though I had Aguero. Already says that they're already latching onto it, which is good news. I think that those that are paying attention to these trends are acting on it.
Yeah, it's so tough. Are you changing your patterns in the Sky captaincy, Luke, at all?
I'm not, to my detriment so far as well. I mean, last season in FPL, I was more, all for captaining sort of rogue players. Did it a lot. I often went against the grain in FPL, and it worked out very well for me. This season, I sort of slipped into the Aguero Sanchez mould, like most other people. I think it's a lot to do with the way the fixtures have fallen as well. And I mean, it's hard to argue with a captain Aguero considering Man City's form. It just baffles me that he's only managed to get 1 goal so far. I can't see that lasting. He's surely got to end up, injury permitting, top goal scorer at the end of the season. That haul's got to be around the corner. I can't believe that it's not.
They've got 4 in the next 6 at home, and you're looking at this: West Ham, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and Norwich. The only concern here is Europe, because losing that opening game to Juventus, immediately they're under pressure there. And Pellegrini, can he afford another flop? Can he afford not to get out of that group?
I think he's got.
He's got to win the league. But it's difficult to balance priorities because Bonnie's not the solution in the Champions League. He can't play him and get results with him. He's got to play Aguero. So then you're looking at, is Aguero a problem for these? We look at these fixtures and go, we're going to get goals out of Aguero in the next 6 weeks. Not if he has to be rested, or not if he's coming off on the hour mark and Bonnie's coming on and scoring against tired legs. It could be really frustrating.
Well, the thing is, with the 13 million price tag, you don't just need goals for him. You need exceptional returns for him all the time, don't you? And he's no way near that at the moment. So, if anyone was to say to me, I'm not captaining Aguero this week, it would be hard to argue to say, well, go for it, because, it is just not working out for him at the moment. I mean, I'd actually think Silva's a better option this week, personally.
Really? Okay. All right.
I just think if Man City score, Silva's bound to be involved in some way, and at the moment we can't say that for Aguero, especially with the slight fitness concern. I wouldn't expect him to play 90 minutes. We do know that doesn't really matter for Aguero sometimes, but I can't see 90 minutes out of him straight off of that knee injury.
Well, the Colonel, we mentioned him earlier, he raised a rough with the smooth. He mentions here, with European football in the mix now, do you think who's going to be worst affected? And I do think the problem here is that Arsenal have lost tonight as well, I believe. Was 2-1 the final score? Before we came on air, it was 2-1. They were down at 10 men. So
yeah, it's 2-1, yeah.
You've got to look at it now. I was looking ahead at Arsenal's fixtures, and they've got...
It's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah, and one of their best fixtures coming up, the best fixture in the next 4 is Watford away in game week 9, which is tough, but you kind of think, Watford away, I'm going to play Sanchez, I'm going to play Walcott if I've got him. But, they've got a European game at Bayern Munich after that, and so that could be a fixture which they've got to win or got to get a result with. They're at home to Bayern Munich, I believe, the following Tuesday. So at Saturday, going to Vicarage Road, is he going to rotate? Is he going to rest players for that? Because it's odds on he's going to have to get a result at home to Bayern, which he's going to need his strongest team for. So there's problems, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definite rotation there for me in some way, shape or form. I mean, maybe not to the extent he did tonight, because there was quite a few names I didn't expect in that lineup, but I think there'll be a few here or there for definite. again, there's the the Walcott-Giroud situation. It's so hard to call at the moment as well. But I think we should speak about Walcott as well. By the way, after trolling us all at the beginning, he's now looking absolutely fantastic, isn't he? His numbers are through the roof. And
it's worth pointing out that Giroud got sent off tonight, so that presumably he misses the next game. He got 2 yellow cards, so that may indicate that Walcott will be used for that next European game, and Giroud. So that might be an indication where we can at last, hopefully, predict which will start. Because that's the thing with Walcott, isn't it? That saying his form's now here. We've now got him back. He's riding high in all the shots on target and shots in the box stats. But will he play? That's the thing. Every week we've got that, and so that makes him tricky.
But he scored again tonight. Is it going to get to the point where Wenger can't leave him out in that he needs him? But I mean, Giroud is just doing enough to kind of make that a doubt, isn't he? Which is it's a problem for us. So okay, let's round this off, Jonty. I believe you've got some FFS UEFA news.
Yes. Now I neglected, sadly, to mention this last week, but one of our community, Jaffalicious, has been organising a FFS UEFA group Champions League themed tournament. Now I took part in this. A lot of the site's contributors did as well through the qualifying rounds, and basically we all failed apart from Andy 85, one of our contributors. He's the only one left out of us, and that kicks off game week 6. I understand that there's going to be a community article in the next day or so with the full list of fixtures there, so that'll be something to look out for. So good on
FFS UEFA, our sister site, do a lot of tournaments and competitions throughout the season. This will be the first of many. I'm sure they'll do more, won't they, Jonty?
Yeah, they do, and they kind of take turns. Jaffalicious is organising this one, and it's they're great. They're great events as well, and they often do kind of team ones as well, which are always good for the community and good fun. Yeah.
I really loved the cricket one they did last year as well. That was one famously where Fenley played his wild card and lost us 50, and we still won the match. That was brilliant stuff. Okay, transfers this week. We'll start with you, Luke. What have you got in mind? I mean, it was a miserable game week for you. Have you got 2 transfers up your sleeve or just the one?
I've got 2 transfers up my sleeve.
Okay.
I'm in that position where I look at my team and I just don't know what to do. I don't know. It's just that kind of season at the moment. I'm happy with everyone and I don't know who to switch to because it seems to be such a lottery at the moment. I think the only player I've got big concerns about is Holibas from Watford. I think I did pretty well in identifying really early on that I thought Watford would look pretty tight with the 2 defensive midfielders in the middle, and it looks like they're going for clean sheets. I think they're yet to concede a goal in the first half of the game, and I did get a Watford defender. I just picked the wrong one. I picked the one which I thought would have the best chance of attacking points in Holibas, and although he has got good numbers, he's not nailed on. So I'll probably look to get him out, possibly really boring, and just go for Neom or Prodl and swap to another one. Yeah. And the other transfer I'll probably save because I'm pretty happy with the rest of my team. The obvious transfer would be Kane to Benteke, but I just don't trust Benteke. I think it's a personal thing for me with him. He always does me over.
Well, Spurs are owned to Palace as well. There's goals in that, isn't it? I mean, Kane's another one where you just think...
Again, his numbers are high as well. If you look at his numbers, he's having a chance. I think it's every 21 minutes or something. He's just missing them at the moment. He's got 5 2-pointers in a row, but when I watch him on TV, he's got in the position quite a few times, and for England he's banged them in. So again, it's got to come good at some point, surely.
Palace don't keep clean sheets under Pardew, so they're going to ship one at Spurs. You think?
Yeah.
I do fancy Palace to win the game, so I think that there's going to be plenty of goals in that one. Jonty, you used 2 transfers last week, didn't you?
Yes.
So you haven't got that chance to play 2 or 3 this
back
week.
with the mere mortals now. So
yeah.
Some injuries. So Company has got a calf injury. We're not quite sure of the extent of it. We're not quite. He claims he's not serious, but I don't know. Is he available this weekend? So if he's not available this weekend, I would be doing Company to Kolarov. There we go. That's that move done, and I save a bit of money. If he is available, I've got Ward with his. He's out for another 2 or 3 games. He's going to probably come down in price at some point over that period. I'm quite happy to leave him, but I can just about do, with nothing spare, Ward to Kolarov and have a Man City double up. So right. Aguero, Kolarov and Company. And that gives me something that a lot of other managers don't have. So everyone will be cheering on the Man City clean sheet, But every time that happens, and it's been happening a lot, and looking at their fixtures, it's going to happen more, we hope, I'm going to be gaining at least 6 points on that. So, yeah, so that's something I'm looking at. I'm happy with my attackers. Pedro might have a bit of an injury, so I might address that. I could do something really odd, like get Silva back in. I could get Coutinho in for Pedro.
I like Coutinho this week.
I don't particularly want to lose Pedro because of the fixtures that are coming up, and he's a good player. I think he's a good fantasy asset once Chelsea get going. Yeah, that's me. I'm looking at defence basically.
Yeah, me too. Because I've got a player that we should just talk about briefly. But then Luke Shaw is on my bench now, and sadly he's on my bench for probably the rest of the season. It looks that was terrible the other night. I mean, it wasn't a foul, I don't believe, but it was what they would call a full-blooded challenge, and he was just incredibly unlucky. This is a player who's been cursed by injury throughout his career. He's still only 20, I believe, but I mean, he was having to. I was looking at it going, I didn't go Darwin, I went Luke Shaw. I took a bit of a risk there, maybe, because Darwin started on fire. But then I saw Luke Shaw last 3 matches and thought I've made the right decision here. He's playing really well, and he is gonna emerge as a real breakthrough player this year, I think. And
I think Apple Bonkers has mentioned it. I think it might have been on Twitter, but the Gareth Bale kind of likeness there. Maybe not, obviously not in the ability-wise yet, but he's definitely strengthened up. He's bulked up. You can see him. He's getting very fit. His ability's never been in question. Obviously, he's come from Southampton as well. It's always been his fitness, hasn't it? And he's really was looking in peak condition. Not only is he key for our defence with having Blind at centre back and that composure, but he's been key to our attacks. We've been going down that left wing, and he's just looked like Depay and sort of Martial and Shaw were having a little thing there in Europe until we went off injured, and absolutely gutted for him, and I think that will dent Man United a lot as well.
So fantasy terms, I've got to get rid because he's going to go down in price, obviously. So it's going to be a really boring move. I'm probably going to have to get in a West Brom defender, which in any given game week is never exciting, but their fixtures are just too good to ignore. I'm looking at it, and they've got Villa, Everton, Palace, Sunderland, Norwich, Leicester next.
Got to be Dawson, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's Dawson, or the gamble is, if I want to invite pain and agony my way, it would be Johnny Evans.
Don't do it.
Shaking your head.
Don't do it.
No. I saved 0.2. What the wonders I could do with that 0.2 in a season where I've got loads of money.
He's played one game and got injured already. Do not do it.
It was a mere cramp.
I had Dawson for a lot of last season, and he's very frustrating because you do get those clean sheets. So you get your 6 points from him, but you don't get any more. It's so frustrating. He never gets bonus. He's doing the same this season. I can't work it out, and he's in that 5 million category, and I always like to have a bit of bonus. So Norton, and he's getting bonus, and Williams. These are the players that I'd perhaps be thinking more of, just because you get that extra bit of points.
He has, and I think it's either in the last 2 games or 1 game, had 2 shots on target in the box. Dawson. He is a threat from set pieces.
Yeah.
Just hasn't actually materialised.
Well, the other move I could look at is getting Simon Francis in, because I got the wrong Bournemouth defender some weeks ago, so I could get Simon Francis in for this week and play him for Sunderland. I don't know. I'll decide that. It's not a transfer. I'm not going to be waking up Saturday morning rubbing my hands, relishing the decisions I've got to make Saturday morning. It's a crab-like move. It's not a very pretty transfer. It's going to be a dull one for me. But what do? Poor Luke Shaw. He's the one with the real problems, and our hearts go out to him, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But in fancy terms, I've got a decision to make now, so we'll see where that takes me. But yeah, I'm like you, Luke. I look at my team. I don't know what I can put right, really. I think at the moment I'm looking at it and think, well, I've just got to keep the faith with Sanchez, with Silva, Aguero, Gomez and Ayew. I've got the home fixtures. I've got Kolarov and Mahrez in place. I've got decent defence now. I've just got to wait for the points, but the trouble is they may never come, and I think we've been expecting it for the last 5 game weeks, that we looked at our teams, a lot of us here on the Scoutcast and on the site, and gone, well, points are going to come. I've got good players. It's just not happened, but maybe it's going to be this week.
Captaincy is the big issue. I think it's less transfers. One of the questions we didn't get to, but it was from your fan Mark Daniel from the site. He has. He was asking about this, about ever wasting a transfer. Now, I could have done that last week, and I wish I had, because I would have got Houlihan's points. So I'd have got more points from doing absolutely nothing and actually wasting a transfer. And I think there is a case for that, because the reason a lot of the community are losing points is because we're captaining the wrong people. We're not captaining these maverick. So I think we're talking about transfers here, but I think the big issue next week for this coming game week is who do we captain? Do we captain Aguero? Or do we go a bit maverick? And so I just wonder, I mean, Luke, where's your captaincy lying at the moment?
To be honest, I don't know. I was considering Wilson until we just talked about him now online on the cast. I honestly don't know. I think it will end up on someone crazy. I could even go Kolarov in the hope that, like you say, he'll do very well away, and he keeps raking in the baps. I mean, he's my current rogue choice at the moment.
Yeah. And Mark, who you got your eye on for the armband?
I guess it's going to be Aguero. I think there comes a point where you go, well, I've been dullard with it so far, and the fear is that the 1 week you go, right, this is it. I'm going to go Maverick. It's going straight on Mahrez, or it's going on Wilson, who could be a good pick, or even Kolarov. That'll be the week that Sanchez or Aguero goes, okay, I'm flicking the switch now, here we go.
It's like going to the casino and seeing that and roulette is coming black 8 times, isn't it? And you go red and it just keeps on coming black. It's so annoying.
This season has been frustrating, and it's hurt us, and it's going to go on hurting us. I think there's going to be more to come.
A lot of licked wounds, a lot of pride hurt so far, I think.
Yeah, but I'm in a kind of funny kind of way. I'm enjoying it. I think that's easy for me to say. I had my best season last year, so maybe it's easy. Maybe I'm doing a Tom Fenley now, and I can afford to it's water for dust back a bit. But it's a strange one. But I'm just going to play safe. I reckon. But yeah, it's going to be a very dull Saturday morning for me with a West Brom defender and Aguero captain. That's going to be. I'll be putting myself to sleep if it wasn't for the preamble.
You need Stephen Naismith, Mark. That's what you need.
Yeah, maybe it's time. I wish I know what Andy was going to do, but I can't read his mind. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you, Luke, for sitting in for Granville. We'll see if his Nibs is back next week. See if his cold can last any longer. It depends how much his game week goes, I suppose. If he beats me again, he'll definitely be back. But thanks for stepping in short notice and filling us in. John T, it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks for those questions in the community and the rough of the smooth. And we'll catch you next week. It could be Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll keep you posted. Look out on the site for that. But it's a good night for me.
Good night from me.
And good night. Thanks a lot.
Good night, folks.